welcome to another lawnfawn video. It's Kelly here, and today we're so excited to be introducing to you our brand new Magic Iris Butterfly Wreath add-on. It works great on its own, and you can also use it with the Magic Iris, and we'll show you that in just a little bit. We're also going to be introducing our Scripty Thinking of You and also the Scripty Thinking of You outline, and we'll take a look at our brand new Folksy Sprig border, which is just so cute and such a fun detail to add on to cards. First, we're going to take a look at the Magic Iris Butterfly Wreath add-on. It has the wreath, little flowers, and then a base butterfly and an outline butterfly to add on for details. We went ahead and die cut a bunch more of those bases out of black licorice cardstock, and then we cut out some more butterfly bases out of a fun rainbow of colors of cardstock, and we're going to start to layer these onto the wreath. Now, we have a lot of different Magic Iris add-ons, and what I love about them is they work great on their own and great with the Magic Iris. And I think that's so cool because the die has a lot of different uses because you can use it in so many different ways. And we're going to show you a card without the Magic Iris and then one with the Magic Iris today in this video. So this is either just a super cute wreath or a really cool way to decorate an interactive card. Now here you can see we're adding a little drop of glue in the center of the butterflies' bodies and then just layering on the little outline detail right on top of each of the butterflies. And we're doing this in a fun rainbow pattern because rainbows make me smile and they just look amazing. And so we're going to layer all of those details on, and then we can layer these on top of the different butterfly bases. Now you can layer all of them like we're going to do here, or you can actually alternate which each one has the little detail on it and another one doesn't. It's just a plain butterfly, and I think that looks really, really pretty too. You can of course do a rainbow of colors, or the butterflies could all be in the same color. You could do a tone on tone look with the outline in the base, which I think would look really, really pretty too. But there's something about this rainbow that I think is just so beautiful. And then here, I just wanted you to see what it looks like when you layer it over top of the Magic Iris. Isn't that so pretty? And in just a little bit, we'll show you how to make a Magic Iris and then layer this awesome wreath over. But first up, we're going to take a look at the Folksy Sprig border. This is so cute. It has adorable little cutouts and also pierced details, and it feels like a special ribbon that you can layer onto your cards. I love that it's the perfect length to layer either on a landscape or a portrait card, and there's lots of different ways you can use this. I love the contrast of the white behind the craft. You can also do things like white behind a light color like this beautiful blush pink cardstock, and then you can also play around with different looks. You can have a darker color behind, which I think is really pretty, or you can have a lighter color behind in a similar shade, just like this. The other thing that you can do is create a contrasting look by having two different colors in some contrasting tones, and I think that's really pretty too. Another fun way to add color behind these is to use your markers or color pencils or watercolor. Here I've cut down a strip of cardstock to be the same size as the border, so it's 3/4 of an inch by 6. And I'm just taking my marker here and I'm just using this almost like a little stencil, and I'm just coloring through the openings on all of these little pieces here. And that's going to give me a guide as to where to add color so that when it layers behind all of the openings in the Folksy Sprig border, you get this really cool look. So here I'm just going to bring in some yellow, and then you can lift it up, and all I'm going to do is just go around each of these and just make them a little bit bigger so that it fully fills in all of those cut out openings. You'll see that I keep taking my little piece here and layering it over again to make sure I'm really adding enough of the different colors. Isn't that so pretty? I also think it'd be fun to like ink blend or watercolor something behind it too. I think it's so adorable. We're also going to be creating a background with this in just a bit as well. And now I'm just going to add some liquid glue to the back of this border and layer it on top of the piece that we colored in to get all of those really cool details. I think this is just so pretty. It would be fun with this and just like a sentiment above it on a card. Isn't that just gorgeous? And then here is a little comparison to just plain white cardstock behind the border. So both of these are totally awesome. It just depends on what look you need for your project. Next up, we're going to take a look at the Scripty Thinking of You die. We have the individual Thinking of You and then the outline add-on that gives this really cool base. So you can use the Thinking of You on its own or layer it onto the outline add-on. And you can see that the die creates an embossed texture so that it's really easy to know exactly where to glue your Thinking of You onto the outline add-on. So we're going to add some liquid glue to the back of this, and then we're just going to layer that right on top of the outline add-on. And isn't that so cute? I think this is such a fun and bold bold sentiment. For the outline add-on, I like using things like vellum, which I think makes it feel kind of magical and really pretty. You could also use pattern paper, contrasting colors, similar colors. There's so many ways to use it depending on the look that you need for your card. And I love a bold sentiment like this. I think it just really is striking and gorgeous on all sorts of projects. Now it's time to start creating some cards, and we're going to bring back that magic iris butterfly wreath that we worked on earlier and add a little extra details. So I think it looks absolutely amazing just like this, but I'm extra. I always want to add extra things. I can't help myself. So what I'm doing is picking out a marker that's about the same color as the cardstock, or maybe just a little bit darker, and I'm just adding a little bit of darker areas, almost like little V's, right towards the inside of the butterfly's body. So you can see I'm just kind of adding just a little bit, like little lines right on the inside, and it's just going to give them a little extra detail. And we're going to add some little lines onto the leaves as well, just to help make them pop. And isn't that so pretty? It just took a couple of seconds and it looks like they're almost ink blended or something, which is really awesome. Then I decided to take out the white gel pen and I'm going to add little lines there towards the butterfly's body onto the wings, and I think that looks really cute. And then we're going to add some more white gel pen details around the wings of the butterfly. And so I'm going to do that to all of the different butterflies. And again, this is just adding some extra details that I think looks really, really pretty. So I went ahead and added that to all the butterflies, and isn't that just beautiful? Now here are our magic spring messages, and I love these so much. We have a bunch of different magic messages. We have spring ones, we have holiday ones, etc. And they're really fun circular phrases that fit exactly into our magic iris add-ons. So the stamp set has a coordinating die, which we use to die cut that little phrase there. We just added some color with some markers, and look how pretty that is. It fits right into the wreath. And we're just going to add some foam squares to the back of the wreath, and then we're going to create a square card base so that the wreath is kind of the star of the show. And we're going to use this brand new Blissful Blossoms paper, which is so pretty. And we're going to use this blue floral, which is going to kind of feel like a sky in the background. And so we're going to die cut that with a stitched square die here. And then we're also going to take some Moonstone cardstock, and we've cut that just a little bit bigger than the pattern paper. We can add some adhesive to the back and layer that on so that there's that nice blue frame around that pretty pattern paper. Then we're going to bring back our wreath and also our magic spring message too, and we're going to add these on with some foam squares. So we can just peel up the liner paper on those and then layer that right onto this square. And look how beautiful that is. Oh, I just love it. Now you could put any sentiment in here, a happy birthday, a thinking of you, etc. But I decided to do Mother's Day because I thought the butterflies were so pretty for Mother's Day. And so we're going to layer that right there into the card, and it's just so super sweet. Now here's a card base, and we're going to be adding some adhesive to that, and then we can layer this whole thing on top. And I just love all these magic iris wreath add-ons because they're just so beautiful on cards like this. I just love how this turned out so much. Now, before we get to creating an actual magic iris, we are going to make a really cool background using the new Folksy Sprig border. And we're going to be starting out with our brand new colors of cardstock. So we have blush, we have peach, we have minty fresh, mist, and also lavender. And so we die cut that Folksy Sprig border out of each of those 5 colors. Here we're just going to use our 0 centering ruler to make a little mark in the center so that we can start in the center with one of our borders and then build up from there to make sure everything's nice and even. So we're going to add some liquid glue to the back of that, and then we can just layer that right there where we made that little mark. And then after this, you can use that as the guide to start adding on the other borders. And I think this is such a fun way to use these to create a really cool pattern. In this one, we did a horizontal pattern, but Lynette from the design team did them on the diagonal, and that's really, really pretty too. I also like using these in the background, and maybe you put like a circle over it so it looks like a little ribbon. It could also be a ground for a cute spring critter. I just think these are so much fun. Now, once we have these all layered onto our card base here, we are going to take our scissors and just trim off any of the excess, and that's going to make it look like they're kind of wrapped around the card. Next, we're going to take out some vellum, and we are going to be die cutting this with one of the new stitched scalloped ovals, the second largest one. And then we're going to be working with that Scripty thinking of you. So we've gone ahead and die cut the base out of white cardstock, and we're going to die cut the words out of some rose gold metallic cardstock, which I think is going to look so beautiful layered on top of the white cardstock. And so we can add some liquid glue behind these pieces and layer it on to the outline base. Then we're going to add some tape runner to layer it onto the vellum oval. And then we want to pop this whole thing off because this is going to be a nice, simple, actually only die cut card. And so a little pop's going to be really nice on the cool border background that we made. So here we're using some of these new foam strips and we're just going to layer that behind, making sure to tuck everything behind the words so that it doesn't peek out at all from the vellum. Then once we have all that foam on there, we can remove all the liner paper and then layer it onto that beautiful background that we created. Isn't that so pretty? Oh my gosh, it's just so delicate. I love it. And so we're going to layer that right on top. And now this card is all done. I think it would just make anybody smile. It's so beautiful. And I just love the soft colors for spring so much. Okay, now that we've created with our wreath a standard card, we've made something really awesome with our floral sprig border, we're going to get to be making a magic iris. Now, if you have never made a magic iris before, make sure to check out our intro video. We will link it in the description below. Now here we've gone ahead and die cut that butterfly wreath from some of the Minty Fresh cardstock, and then we're going to die cut these little flowers here from some peach cardstock. And then we're going to die cut some of these butterflies, and we are going to be using the Blissful Blossoms paper. And we're going to do a pastel rainbow theme this time. We kind of had a bright rainbow before, and now these are going to be pastels. And so we actually cut these out of all of the different colors. So there's a floral paper and then kind of like a vine paper in it. And so the bases are cut from the vine paper, and then the outlines are cut from the floral paper that's a little bit less bold, which I think is really pretty. And then we can start to add some liquid glue onto the wreath base and start to layer all of these fun details on top. I love once you add the little flowers. I feel like it makes it feel so special. And then once you add the butterflies, it's just amazing. Now, when I use my magic iris wreaths with a magic iris, I really like using the add-on because it gives it this really nice base for it to be glued onto. And so the magic iris add-on is that cover plate one right here. And we're going to die cut that out of some more Blissful Blossoms paper. We're going to use the 12 by 12 this time because it has a larger scale, which I think will be a nice contrast to the smaller scale on the butterflies. And so now we've die cut that, and now we can add some liquid glue to our wreath and layer that over the opening. All of these openings are the same size, so they're going to layer together perfectly. Now we can take this whole piece here and we're going to set this aside and start to work on the magic iris mechanism. So we're going to be using all these dies here, and you need to die cut that circle ring there 3 times. Then we're going to take this piece, we jokingly call it the flux capacitor piece here because it kind of looks like that a little bit for some reason to us, and you're going to line that up in the center of one of the rings and run it through the die cut machine. So now you have 2 plain rings and you have one with that little detail onto it. Now these are the pieces we call the sausages. We're going to die cut that out of some Blissful Blossoms paper. We're going to die cut these stabilizers here, 3 of them as well, out of some white cardstock. And now we're going to be ready to start creating our magic iris. Oh, and we're also going to die cut that tab too. So now we're going to take these sausage pieces, and you'll see that they have this little end to them, and that end is going to be in those openings there on the magic iris ring. So we're going to add 1 to each of those cutouts. You'll see that the inner edge of those pieces there line up with the inner edge of the ring, which is really, really cool. Now you may notice that those pieces have a little X embossed on them. The die embosses an X. That's X marks the spot, and that's where you're going to put your glue dots. And here you're going to want to use the mini size of glue dot, and we're going to layer those 1 on each of those little X's. I like using the pick up pokey tool for this because it's an easy way to pick it up and just add it right onto that X in perfect placement. Then once we have that, we want to make sure that all these pieces are all lined up so that the edge of those sausage pieces is lined up with the edge of the inner circle there. And once you have everything lined up, we can take one of the plain rings and we're going to layer that on top, and it's going to be attaching onto those glue dots. So here's the plain ring, and we're just going to layer that right on top. And they're all the same size rings since they were cut with the same die, so they're really easy to stack on top of each other. The next step is to take this whole piece and flip it over. And once you flip it over, you'll see that the die created some cool little stitch details that are going to tell us where to put our stabilizers. And so you can see that little detail right there. See that little line right there? You're going to take your tape runner and just do a line of tape runner on each of those. And there are 3 of those spots right there. Then you're going to take those stabilizer pieces, and you'll see it has a little curved edge. It's going to line up with the curved edge of the inside of the ring. And so we're going to line it up on each of those there, and you'll see that that little stitch detail that the die makes lines up exactly with the stabilizer pieces too. And so now we'll do the 3rd one just like that. And so you're going to have a piece that looks just like this, and then we're going to flip it over. Now the next thing we need to do is to add this tab. And so we're going to flip that over and we're going to add adhesive about a third or so of the way down of it. And you'll see it has a curved edge. It's going to line up with the inner curve of the ring. And then you're going to line it up so that it forms a little V with that tab that is sticking out there. So it's to the right of that tab and it's kind of lining up and making a little V shape. And so when you add it, it's going to look just like that. Then we're going to take our next ring and you're just going to put it on top. There's no adhesive or anything, it's just lying right on top. And the only place you're going to put adhesive is on those 3 stabilizer pieces. You're going to make sure that all of those rings are stacked up nicely, and then you're going to wrap those stabilizers around to secure that ring in place. When you wrap them around, you want it to be like a light hug. You don't want it to be too tight, and you'll notice that it doesn't go all of the way to the inner edge of the ring, and that's okay. That's exactly how you want it to look, just like this. Now, once you have these in place, you have made a magic iris mechanism. So you can take that tab and you can move it, and look at that. It closes just like that and opens. Isn't that so cool? I love making these. I never get over it. They are just always so cool. Now, because we're using that Magic Iris add-on, the cover plate one, it has a really cool tab detail here that has that fun little cutout arrow, and we've die cut that from some of that Blissful Blossoms paper. We're going to add some adhesive to the back of that and just line that up over the tab. Now, you'll see a little bit of the tab sticks out. You're just going to take your scissors and trim off any of the excess, and this is going to give a tab that's the exact size for using with that cover plate add-on. Now the next thing is that we need to put adhesive all over the top of that ring. So it's going to go all over the whole thing, just onto the white cardstock pieces, just like that. Then we can take this and add our Magic Iris cover plate with the wreath right on top. And you'll see when you line it up, you want to line it up with the edge of that pull tab so that it kind of fills in your rectangle there. And then you'll press down and that'll have it in perfect placement. And then you can test your Magic Iris and look at that. So cool. Now next up we have a standard size card base here that's 5.5 by 4.25, and we're going to be adding some more of that Blissful Blossoms paper. This is the vine side, which is so pretty, and we're going to add that onto this piece. And then we're going to take our whole Magic Iris mechanism and we're going to add some of the large 3D foam squares into the corners, into those 3 corners there, and then we're going to take the small foam squares and add it just right there into that upper corner, and then we're going to add it on the top and the bottom. Then the only place you're going to put adhesive is onto those stabilizer pieces. So only onto those stabilizer pieces. So 3 little strips of adhesive there, just like that. And then we can go ahead and peel up the liner paper on all of our foam squares. Then you can take this whole piece and we're just going to flip it on over to our card base and secure that in place. And I think that looks so pretty. These colors are just so pretty for spring. Then you can test your Magic Iris and look at that. Isn't that cool? Now, we wanted to add a sentiment inside. You could put a cute stamped image, you could do all sorts of different things, but we decided to take out the magic messages, and we're going to stamp out the thank you so much and just add a little bit of color with some markers. And then those magic messages have a coordinating die that cuts out a circle, and so we're going to go ahead and die cut that, and you'll see that it's going to be a perfect fit for the Magic Iris mechanism. So we're just going to open that mechanism up, and then we're going to take some adhesive and add it to the back of this circle, and then we can just tuck the circle right inside. And you'll see you can just kind of press it right into the center, make sure it's nice and straight, and then just press down to make sure it's secured in place. And that way the Magic Iris mechanism can work over it and you get that fun little surprise of your sentiment. Now here we have the Henry's Build a Sentiment butterfly, which is a really fun one to use with this butterfly wreath. And there's one that says fluttering by to say. We're going to stamp that in some black licorice ink and then use a sentiment banner die here. We're going to hold that in place with some tape and then run it through the die cut machine so that we have this cute little banner. So I love that it's going to say fluttering by to say, and you're going to wonder, well, what is it? And then you're going to open the Magic Iris and get the cute surprise. So we're going to layer that right on top and then just trim off any of the excess right here with our scissors. And look how cute this is. I just love it so much. The wreath makes the Magic Iris feel even more special, and as you open it up, look at that, fluttering by to say thank you. I think that's so pretty. It's so cute for spring, and it just makes me smile. This is just adorable and so much fun, and I can't tell you how much I adore this wreath. Now, next up, we have some incredible cards by the design team. And first up, we have one by Lynette that is just so pretty. She used those awesome new floral sprig borders on the diagonal, and she even added some of the butterflies from the wreath around the thinking of you, and it's just so beautiful. I love how Audrey created monarch butterflies onto her butterfly wreath. It looks so cute with that Hello Spring. I just love it. Here, Elise was so creative. She used the outline add-on to create a shaker window, and I think this is so fun, and I can't wait to try it too. This card here by Elena is so pretty, and I love how she has the outlines on some of the butterflies and then just the plain bases on the other ones. I love the markering she did. Here, Grace used the thinking of you with our new Have a Mice Flight with the rainbow and the ovals. I just love it so much. The colors are so pretty. This card by Maureen is amazing. I love the pinks and oranges together. They're just so happy. She also created a cool magic iris where the little opening pieces are made out of vellum. So you could see a peek at the sentiment. When you open it up, you get the whole sentiment, which is just gorgeous. Here, Shari used the thinking of you in the middle of this cute backdrop with some fun new butterflies from our Like Big Butterfly stamp set. And then here, Maureen created the most beautiful background with bold colors in the Folksy Sprig border with our adorable new costumes for our Build-A-Bunny and Build-A-Fox. And then this card here by Melissa is so sweet, and the butterflies are just perfect with this thinking of you border. And then here, I love how Letitia made an oval-shaped card and how she layered the Folksy Sprig border over that new Blissful Blossoms paper. I just think it's so much fun. So we cannot wait to see all of your fun butterfly cards, your magic iris cards, your thinking of you cards, so make sure to share them with us. Thank you so much for watching today, and I hope you have an absolutely amazing day. Bye!